Sea of Tranquility by Emily Saint John Mandel, published in 2022. Sea of Tranquility is a solid science fiction time travel novel. Mandel brings to this the same calm and meditative prose that she displayed with her last hit, Station 11. In Tranquility, the reader is exposed to a few different time periods. Most notable are a past timeline where a opinionated young man from an upper-class English family is sort of dispatched from England to go find himself in Canada, and a future timeline featuring a popular novelist, perhaps resembling Emily Saint John Mandel herself, leaving her moon colony to begin a book tour on Earth during a pandemic. These are not the only timelines that we visit, and there's also a solid payoff as these stories all connect. Pattern Recognition by William Gibson, published in 2003. In this post-9/11 world, protagonist Case has, for lack of a better description, a psychosomatic reaction and aversion to advertising and branding. In this first book of Gibson's phenomenal Blue Ant series, Case is a talented marketing consultant, and her unusual psychological state and near-genius instincts for what logos and branding that the public will connect with make her the perfect candidate to track down some mysterious, buzzworthy online content. This is a sci-fi thriller, and Case's involvement in the mystery leads to high-stakes danger, paranoia, a fetishist group, racing against others who want to find out the same thing, very interesting characters, and an eventual and satisfying ending. Before I forget, if you've read any of these, let me know, or if you're thinking about reading any of these, let me know. Embassytown by China Mieville, published in 2011. Embassytown is disorienting science fiction. By that, I mean there's a lot going on with new ideas and invented language that if you're willing to take the ride and uncover it all, the payoff is a tremendous reading experience. This is a brilliant novel set on Arieka, a planet at the far edge of the universe as we know it. The city Embassytown is important for a number of reasons, including its alien biotech exports. The center of the story is the relationship between the native aliens of the planet and the humans living there. Most interesting in the story is the examination of language and thought. The Arieke communicate with human ambassadors, twins bred for the purpose of communication with the natives. To speak with the Arieke, the speaker needs to be able to speak 2 words simultaneously, and that's just the beginning. How could you not want to read this now? Also, if I piqued your interest, you can also see author Wole Talabi gushing about it during one of his cameos on my top 210 science fiction books video. Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, published in 2005. I love this because it's a real mind bender. It's dystopian speculative fiction, and because I love an opportunity to call out my biggest episode of the year and to spotlight one of my favorite creators, here's Jay from Captured in Words speaking about Never Let Me Go on that episode.
Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is a book that is going to break your heart piece by piece. The story is told by Kathy as she recalls her life at this English boarding school far away from the city. Now, the students at this school seem to be learning about art and literature and how to become a person that the world wants them to be, but they don't have any contact with the outside world. We gradually realize that something is not entirely right here. Now, Kathy and a group of her friends end up leaving the safe grounds of the school, and they eventually discover what is truly going on. Keep in mind, this is very light on sci-fi. Don't go in expecting a bunch of sci-fi elements or a full-on dystopia novel. It is very light on that. In fact, at its heart, this is a story about 3 friends who discover what it means to live in a world that might not fully accept them. And ultimately, it's about a moral examination on what makes us human. It is tragic and beautiful, and I'd recommend it to readers who like a little bit of mystery and a twist in their stories.
Revelation Space by Alastair Reynolds. I'm sure that I'll be talking about this again, and for that matter, Pattern Recognition in the Blue Ant series as well, when I put out my top 25 science fiction series video before the end of the year. This series and this first book are great because Reynolds hits the exact right balance of science and fiction. While it takes the full series to really appreciate its genius, this is a very strong first book. At this point, it's a bit harder for me to separate book 1 from the rest of the series and the shared universe books, so I'll tell you what to expect without spoiling anything. In Revelation Space, we're looking at future society, a space opera with humans and different versions of humans spread across the stars, a dark universe, aliens, alien plagues, nanotech, all kinds of interesting astrophysics, almost light speed travel, Fermi paradox themes, and more. Reynolds presents 3 storylines and some pseudo-interesting characters, meaning the idea of them is interesting, but the application or delivery is just okay. beginning with Dan Silvestri, an archaeologist, heavily invested in trying to figure out how, why, who done it, extinguished an entire alien race, the Amarantan. The novel really centers on Dan and just a couple of other main characters, and the storylines mostly converge by the highly satisfying ending. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Evers, and this is Fit to be Read.